Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video review of this knife. And this knife is the Doug Ritter Mini Ritter, I think it's RSK Ritter Survival Knife Mark II. And this is a knife that is exclusive to KnifeWorks. It's made for Doug Ritter by Hogue Knives. And Doug Ritter runs Knife Rights, which is one of two advocacy groups for knife owners. The other is AKTI, and they do work for knife owners and knife manufacturers. And both of them are working on reforming knife laws to make them more commonsensical, and sales of this knife help support Doug Ritter so that he can do the work that he does. I am going to take a look at this knife, and I'm going to compare it to two knives that are on the market that are very similar. One is a very, very similar knife, and it is the Benchmade Mini Grip. And then this is a more recent knife, and this is the Benchmade Mini Bug Out. But let's take a look at this knife, talk about the objective stuff, and then we'll get into what I like and what I don't like. So this knife has black G10 handles. It also comes in orange G10, and if you get the full-size Ritter, it is black, orange, and they now have one with a black blade and tan or flat earth handles. The blade, as you can see, there's a mark up at the top. It says it right there. It's 20 CV. This is a high flat ground blade. It is an Able lock, which is Hogue's version of the Axis lock. It works really, really super well. I actually like it quite a bit. And the knife has a pocket clip. And as you can see, there's the internals. You can see that the metal liner comes out to here. The knife has a like 2.9 inch, 2.85 inch blade. It weighs 2.6 ounces, which is a little bit less than this and a little bit more than that. Actually, an ounce more than that. The knife is $139 from KnifeWorks, and it is the first of these knives that Doug Ritter has made in collaboration with Hogue. The original Ritter survival knives were made by Benchmade, and they were really just a variation of the Mini Grip. They had a slightly different blade shape than the Mini Grip. As you can see, they have these tri-wing thumb studs that are also repeated here on the Axis bar, the bar lock, and they work really super well. They're grippy without being shreddy. The same thing cannot be said of the G10 pattern. So as you can see, it has this starburst pattern coming out from the pivot screw, which I like, but then it has this part right here, this sort of like thumbprint. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that. Like a thumbprint right there, and it's underneath the clip on both sides. And the end result is this knife has some pretty shreddy texture. So to take care of that, I just very lightly sanded with some 400 grit sandpaper to kind of knock down the texture. And now my Mini Ritter is about the same texture as the original Mini Grip. So the next problem stems from this. This texture on the knife as it ships is so rough that if they had a normally tensioned pocket clip, it would absolutely obliterate your pocket. And so what they did is they put this really loose pocket clip. I mean, look, you can see it's like super loose. Compare this to that, and you're getting, it's a significantly greater effort to get that thing up. The pocket clip here is really not that good. It is very loose, and tensioning it basically means that you're gonna shred your pocket, and loosening it means that the knife kind of flops around. So what I've done for now is I have been using the clip from my original 940-1, which they very kindly replaced for free with the overtop carry clip. And I've been using this, but I have a clip from MXG Gear on the way. And so once that's done, I'll sort of give an overview of the knife after I've carried it for a while and seen how the texture works. So the clip and the texture are really quite bad. I mean, they are just not good. There's no reason to put the texture here. And if you are gonna put texture there, there is no reason to make it as shreddy as it is. So not a great design. And then because of that, there's this sort of cascade effect where you need this really loose and floppy clip. I don't like the clip, I don't like the texture. So if that was it, if that was all there was, there would be no question that the Mini Grip is a better knife. But there are some things on this knife that are just really outstanding. So the first thing is, they have done a really great job of putting an edge on this knife. Hogue consistently has the best factory edges of any of the major knife brands. And while I don't put a lot of weight on factory edges because I can sharpen them myself, this is an extraordinarily good factory edge, and this is probably beyond my sharpening skill, even with 4 or 5 years on the work sharp. It is an exceptionally good edge. The other thing that they did that was really good is, if you can see, let's see if we can line these up here. The blade stock on the mini grip is significantly thicker than the blade stock on the Mini Ritter. And that means that this knife, both because of the blade stock and because of that cutting bevel, this thing just slices like a razor. This is one of the best slicing knives I've ever seen. Like, we're talking about in the same league as like the Percival and the Spyderco Chaparral and the Spyderco Spidey Chef. This is one of the best slicing blades I have ever seen. So that's a really good thing. The other thing is, this knife has a significantly better deployment. I mean, I have tuned the crap out of this guy, and it's okay. It's not great. But this knife, I mean, you can pop it out pretty easy. Let's see if I can get a good one on camera. I mean, it just rockets out. Now, the problem is, as with most axis locks, you are always fighting a battle between the smooth deployment and the lack of blade play. So, like, I usually I fall down on the side of, like, really no blade play at all. And as you can see, this thing locks up. But the end result is this particular mini grip ain't very smooth at all. But this Ritter mini grip, or this mini Ritter, is absolutely smooth, and there is no blade play. So huge props there. And I think this is one of those examples where capitalism triumphs, because once the unnatural restriction on trade, aka the intellectual property associated with the axis lock, once that fell away, we've been treated to a bunch of really great axis locks, some from companies like Hogue, and some from Benchmade. This is still probably the best deploying axis lock I've ever had. It is better than it's even better than the Ritter. It's probably the same level of smoothness, but this just has a little bit more pop. You can kind of just nudge the thumb stud and it'll fly open. So, this one, lots of tuning. I've got it to the point where I like it, but it's still a trade-off. This has no real trade-off whatsoever, and it's super smooth. Still not quite as smooth as this mini bug out, but really close. So this is my overview of the Doug Ritter Mini Ritter. This is a good knife. It has some drawbacks, but it also has some really great features that are hard to find on other knives. So when you get a chance, go over to KnifeWorks, take a look, and I will be putting up a full written review soon.